Welcome back and happy Veterans Day to all veterans, past, present, and to the active duty members serving home and abroad. I salute you. To this episode is dedicated to the men and women who have gone above and beyond for their country, who have given their youth, their time, their effort, their energy to serve our great nation. When we see the uniform, we see strength, we see courage, we see discipline. But what we don't see is the sacrifice. We don't see the lonely nights. We don't see the anxiety and the stress, not knowing if you will come back home, not knowing if the family that you left will be there when you return. Military service is not for the faint of heart. It is not for the easily broken. This episode is dedicated to the men and women who have done so much, who have served, but also is for the family who have served along with them. Because behind every salute, there's a story of sacrifice that does not make headlines. Welcome to the special edition of Qwick Talks. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service. I like your uniform. What does this ribbon mean? These are just a few of the things that are said to military men and women. If you have worn a uniform, you have heard it all. But what many people don't understand is that military life is a life of sacrifice. The military shapes you in ways a person who has never served can't possibly understand. From boot camp to the end of an enlistment to retirement, the whole process changes you from who you used to be. When a person decides to join the military, why you join the military doesn't matter. When you decide to join the military, you join a long line of people who have made the ultimate choice to serve their country. To me, there is no greater honor than serving a country like ours. When you first enter into the various boot camps, I'm a Navy guy, so Great Lakes, Illinois is where my boot camp was. You go there and you have these ideas. You go there and you think you know what to expect. And as a person who went to boot camp in the early 2000s, let me tell you, what you think boot camp is like is not like you ever thought. And my fellow Marine guys and girls, they know boot camp is no game. I was also stationed on MCRD Paris Island. So let me tell you, boot camp is meant to break you down and to rebuild you in ways you never thought you would be rebuilt. For us Southern people saying, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, that's part of our lexicon. But for those who are not used to that, boot camp would definitely make sure that you understand what it means to be a military member and to have honor, courage, commitment, how to have discipline and love for your brother and sister in uniform. And it's fun. It's a very fun time. You learn so much. You make lifelong friendships. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The cost of joining the military. You learn structure for sure. But that spontaneity, that ability to get up and go and do what you want, it's lost. You gain purpose. But sometimes you sacrifice your peace. You are at the needs of insert whatever branch. I'm going to use Navy a lot because I'm a Navy guy. You're at the needs of the Navy. The cost isn't just physical. You'll get in shape for sure. But there's a emotional, there's a mental, there's a financial toll. But every deployment, if you're married or have a family, you leave behind that family. The family does not have you there. When a woman leaves her husband, or the husband leaves their wife, husband leaves their husband, wife leaves their wife, wherever your your machinations are. When you leave that family behind, you hope that you can return and everything can be the same. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. For every enlistment, there's a further continuation of potentially leaving your family behind for months on end. Deployments are not easy. Most of us reenlist for a variety of reasons, but at the core of everything is to serve our country and to make sure that we are defending America, because this country is still, despite what's going on right now, worth defending. But as we defend our country and we sacrifice for the men and women, most of whom we do not know, we're slowly but surely forgetting who we are. And what I mean by that is, when you come back, and you often see this once you get out, when you come back and you take off that uniform, you fade into obscurity. And many veterans know this. Many of us, once we take off that uniform, it's like people forget who we are, which is why I decided to make this episode to remind our veterans that you are not invisible. I still see you. Some of us still see you, and the country actually appreciates you, because without you, there will be no United States of America. Now let's talk about the financial toll of being a active duty member and a veteran. As you guys know, there was just a government shutdown, and at the beginning of the government shutdown, the military members were not getting paid. The reason why I say it is an honor and a privilege, but also a sacrifice to be a military member. How many of you will go to work with the potential to potentially lose your life if you're ordered to go into a war zone with no promise of payment? Sure, there's back payment, but as you all know, we live in America. Most landlords, car companies, credit card companies, they want their money now. They can care less about your uniform. They can care less about your sacrifice. They can care less about whether or not you need to feed your child. When they want their money, they want their money. And if you don't pay them, your credit is hit. Military members go through this all the time. We are at the beck and call of those who we protect and we serve. Whether we vote Democrat or vote Republican, it doesn't matter. When you wear that uniform, you vote America. And when the people in Washington, D.C. are, playing tug of war with your livelihood, you stand to watch. When the country is battling each other, red versus blue, black versus white, gay versus straight, all that stuff, you stand to watch. When someone threatens this country and its sovereignty, you stand to watch. When we are going to a country, whether we should be there or not, you stand to watch. No matter what a military member believes or supports, we stand to watch. We do our duties. And what I want people out there watching this video today to understand is, while we do our duties, at times the pay isn't what you think it is. Sometimes we struggle to make ends meet. Sure, we have BAH, which is essentially a basic housing allowance that allows us to add pay to our base pay. So if you're in San Diego, E5 is like an extra $4,000, and that seems like a lot. But if you live in San Diego, you understand it's not a lot at all, because taxes still exist. You still have to pay. The healthcare is not free. You actually pay for that. There's a lot of things people do not know about serving this great nation. You get a uniform allowance, but sometimes uniforms, they fray after a couple of washes, they fade. Sometimes you get hurt, you gain weight. The women, they get pregnant, they gain weight. A lot of that stuff, you have to pay out of your own pocket. Daycare is expensive. You might not have the ability to get your kid inside the CDC, the Child Development Center. There might not be any room, so you have to go out in town. That you do not get any extra money for putting your kids in daycare out in town. there's a huge financial toll on our men and women in uniform. And that's the people in uniform. Once you get out of the military, whether it's a retirement or the end of your enlistment or emergency reasons as to why you can't continue your military service, those bills they follow you, but the pay stops. That's why there's such a huge swath of homeless veterans out there. It I want you guys to really put yourself in the shoes of those men and women who serve our great nation. I want you, when you see them and you say Happy Veterans Day, I want you to actually mean it. I don't want you to just say the words because it sounds nice. I want you to truly, truly understand the sacrifice that they have made to protect this great nation. Outside of the financial part of military service, there's the part that we don't see, the mental aspect. There's so much mental gymnastics one has to do in order to serve our country. When you go into a war zone, and I have many, many friends who have went into war zones. I joined during the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, um, and people don't return to this country the same way they left it. For those who have seen combat, if you've ever seen someone pass away in front of your eyes, you know what I'm talking about. Those men and women, they go over there to defend our great nation and to uh, protect our Constitution. And oftentimes, they themselves need protection. They need love. They need the space to transition back to some level of normalcy. Post traumatic stress disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, depression, those things everyone can suffer. But to suffer and to still have to get up, put on your uniform, and do your duties, to watch your friend make the ultimate sacrifice, you can't even mourn, you can't even grieve because you have to keep fighting the good fight. Many of you don't know what that is, what that feels like. Veterans are 1.5 times more likely to commit self destruction than any other demographic. Males are even more likely, veteran males, because you don't see that wound, you don't see that pain. And because men don't have the same social structures around them the way females are. That one thing I love about women. Women have that sister circle. They get together and they check on each other. And man, we must build that because we lose, oh, if I'm not mistaken, it's 22 active duty service members, males, take themselves out of the game. I think it's every second or every minute, regardless of how. I don't care if it's every day. Losing one brother or sister in arm is not tolerable to me. Our country has made great strides to ensure that military members have mental health help. But it takes a village to raise a child. I believe it takes a village to restore a person back to how they used to be. If you see a person in uniform or a person who have served and they seem downtrodden, they seem sad, say something. You're their fellow countrymen. Say something. Let them know they're loved. Let them know that you care about them. And if they need anything, be there for them. donate to veterans charities. That stuff, it really, really matters. It truly does. Community is very important. The mission does not end when the war is over. In fact, in my opinion, the mission begins for the families and the community that the person was protecting. Their mission begins. That person mission may end, but the community and the family mission begins to ensure that person knows that you are appreciative of what they have done. So I task all of you now to make sure that your military men and women, active duty and veteran, are taken care of. Pay attention to their mental health because we want them to be here as long as God allows. Now to those amazing, amazing, amazing family members. Spouses become single parents when their significant others are deployed. For the people who are single mothers and single fathers out there, that's not easy. But imagine having your help thousands and thousands of miles away with the hope that they will return, but no guarantee. That's a whole nother level of stress. For those kids who have watched birthdays come and go and papa or mama was not there, I salute you. For everything you have done, for everything you have sacrificed for us, for our great nation, to continue being the great nation that it is, I salute you. You guys may not wear a rank, you might not have a uniform on, but you for sure have a mission. And that mission is support. For any war, for any mission, you need support. We have support ships. So we have support ships. We have support when you have 4 operating bases. You have support everywhere, and our family is our ultimate support. I can't be the man I am today if I didn't have my kids, my fiance, my mom, my siblings, my friends supporting me in all my endeavors. From deciding to make a podcast to writing my first book, they supported me and it made things a lot easier. So for those families out there, I definitely support you. We know for a fact marriages suffer while you're in the military. If I'm not mistaken, military members have a higher divorce rate than the average, which is 50% in America. So, 50% of marriages fail regularly. In the military, it's way more than that because the stress put on a marriage due to our dedication to the mission. So for those families out there, thank you so much for allowing us to use your significant others in order to protect our great nation. It is appreciated. As I end this special episode, I would like to send a shout out to all my fellow men and women in uniform, all the ones who have worn a uniform in the past, and all the ones who will wear the uniform in the future. I thank you so much for what you've done for our country. I thank you so much for the sacrifices made. I thank you for continuing to serve us. I thank you for all that you do. And I want you to know, even as you take that uniform off and transition from active to civilian life, that your sacrifice will not be forgotten, that you will not be forgotten. Your families, for all they have done, they will not be forgotten. We may not know your name. We might not even remember your face, but we will definitely remember your sacrifice. At the end of this video, I have listed a number of resources for veterans, for those in need, for my homeless veterans out there. I know you might not have Wi-Fi or whatever the case may be, but if this video somehow comes across your feed, I want you to understand that at the end of this video or a list of resources. If you're in San Diego, I also have local resources that you can use to get you a hot plate, a place to stay, for veterans who may not be at that level of need, there's still other resources, the VA for mental health. For those who have not yet done their VA compensation for any type of service connected disability, you can message me in the comments. You can say, hey, can you help me with that? I can connect you. I know that system pretty well. I am medically retired. I know the system pretty well. I also worked for the Defense Health Agency back in the day, so I kind of know how the system works. But I really thank you guys for tuning in for this very special episode of Qwick Talks. Once again, thank you for your service, and I salute you.